feared and feared through Killarney. Now I'm back to hitching with the wind. But if Mickey Flynn should ever find me, I'll throw me caution all behind me and square off on that son of a bitch again. He cracked open a river too, he beat me Sunday through and through, and such over my unconscious frame. I won me healthy sheriff fights, well lucky son still had me life since Mickey Flynn beat me dumb and lame.
Ooh, we got a name finally. We used to be the PTBNL podcast. We are not that any longer. We are also no longer liars to all the listeners. We got a name. I am your host for tonight. I am Shane, and I am joined with Rob. Rob, how you doing, sir?
I am a little bit drunk and otherwise doing pretty damn well.
Solid. I expected to be drunk almost every show. That's fine. I'm going to go to the West Coast guy, who I also expect to be in some way impaired. Scott, how are you?
Pretty good. I did pour myself a hefty whiskey. Shout out to Steve. He would appreciate it. But I'm doing pretty good. I made the mistake of starting the day watching Game 7 of the Raptors versus the Sixers, which I told you guys I was going to watch the other day. So I've been a little somber, a little cranky all day. So excuse me if I'm a little short in this podcast.
That sounds fantastic. I'm glad that your misery is going to join this group now. Andrew, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. I just got a lot of homework done today, and then I'll keep the trend going with the alcohol. And I had a Yingling a couple hours ago, so
There you go. How very Philly.
Cheers to you. I'm drinking Yingling too. Good choice.
Well done, guys.
that's
I
good.
had the can with the Phillies logo, so it's appropriate right now.
I haven't found that yet, so I just got the normal can.
They had it at Royal Farms last week. I don't know if they still have it.
Okay.
I'm going to have Rob mail you some.
Sounds
No
good to
big
me.
deal. And then we got Boric on. Boric, how are you, sir?
Doing well. I also, like Andrew, had to do some homework today and had a couple beers myself from the Pennsylvania brewery that my friend bought for me because he owed me money. So instead of doing that, he just
Bought you
bought
a whole
combo.
brewery? That's fucking
No, he bought a whole combo pack of the Pennsylvania beers.
I
Which
gotcha.
some of them are very good, others are moderate. So I just know which ones to buy from now on.
Hey guys, free drinks on Borica's Brewery.
Yeah,
Sounds good
that's
to
it.
me.
That's for
Party.
every single game of the year. I myself, I'm doing pretty well. I am excited. I paid off my truck on Thursday, and it proceeded to blow up on Friday. Shit
I'll
you
drink
not.
to that.
That's fucking incredible. So all of you
I'll
guys
drink
can
to the
take
first part of that. I said that before I heard the last part.
drink to all of it. You got to drink to the highs and lows of life. That's what this is. But I'm going to tell you why I'm super excited. I'm super excited because we did finally come up with a name. It has taken us, 20 episodes so far. We went from a team of like 2 and 3 all the way up to the now current team of 7 that we have. Biscuit was unfortunately not able to join us for the full team show tonight, but the guy who's bringing us the name is Sean New. Why don't you tell everyone our new identity, sir?
Yeah, so I actually, well, first off, I'd like to say I am feeling like the least alcoholic out of the group right now, but I will be making up for that after we finish recording this. But I wanted to kind of tell the story of where this name came from. So obviously we've been trying to come up with a name for the pod for a while, and we actually got to the point where we thought about not naming it and keeping this going, which I half supported, but felt like we needed an identity. So I took it upon myself to kind of listen to some old podcasts, and during one of them, we were asked our favorite baseball quotes, and a handful of us chose Chase Utley quotes. And, the one rule that we had when we were coming up with names for all of us was that we weren't going to have it named after a current player. So I thought, why not make it after a, former player, somebody that isn't playing with the team right now. Did I say former or current the first time? I don't know if I screwed that up. But
Yeah,
anyway.
you were good.
Okay. So why not make it a former player? So I thought Chase Utley. There's a lot of puns in that name. So my corny ass came up with Chasing the Trophy. And, of course, I had to pitch this name to my mom being the one that came up with both my username for everything and my gamer tag, which is Mountain New. I pitched it to her, and I said, Mom, what do you think of Chasing the Trophy? And she said, ooh, that's good, but why not instead of chasing, you really emphasize that it's about Chase Utley, and you make it Chase 'N, the trophy. I was like, that's a great idea. So later on, I had to text Shane the form of memorabilia that I wanted for the ANYP Phillies podcast. So, of course, as I'm texting him that I want my snapback, I say, what do you think of the name Chasin' the Trophy? And he said, I really like it, but what if we made it Chasing the Pennant? And I said, that has a ring to it, the CTP podcast. So I now present you the new podcast name, Chasing the Pennant.
We are now officially named. We have an identity. Sean, your mom, and everyone else who was patient with us, we appreciate it. We are CTP Pod. We are Chasing the Pennant. I'm excited for it. I already have Asian Rob working on a logo for us. That is what is going to be on everyone's memorabilia, by the way. Also, Sean is the only one to have reached out to me outside of Rob. So everyone else, stop being lazy. I'm giving you free shit right now. That's for members of the pod, by the way. So anyone who's now about to throw into my DMs and be like, I'd like this. Well, give it a couple weeks. But we are Chasing the Pennant, and I'm super excited about it. Sean, awesome work, man. Really, really
Fucking
good stuff.
beautiful name.
It's a good name.
It's definitely quality stuff.
Thank you.
So we have moved to our 2 shows a week that we're going to stick more to a regimented kind of a show. And we're going to have a specific topic and something of substance to kind of bring to you. And then we figured we are a large group. We'd still like very much so to be able to get all of us onto these shows occasionally and kind of have that free format. Let's just kind of shoot the shit and be some guys who love the game of baseball. So that's going to be our weekend show. So it'll sometimes come out on Saturday, sometimes on Sundays. We're recording this one super late because Scott's an asshole and wanted to watch the Michael Jordan thing. And I also wanted to watch The Last Dance. So we did that, and now it's 11:30, and now we're going to bring you our very first of our new setting. This is going to be completely different than our normal show. So definitely continue to tune into it. Tonight, we're going to start this one off with a MLB the Show review. Rob's going to take this part over for a bit. He is the one who is kind of steering that ship. But with Reese Hoskins coming out there and having some pretty quality stuff on the Twitter machine, I really dig that. Reese, it's made me laugh so hard. I don't remember which one of you guys sent that over, but I did laugh out loud. But I'm going to send this one over to Rob real quick and allow the guys who play that game to give some reviews and feedback. Rob?
All right. Well, I was actually going to attempt to play Road to the Show as we were recording here, but then I was quickly reminded that even though I have the television on mute, the base coach still yells at me through the controller. So
I like how 3 minutes before this started, we said we were just going to allow that to go and no one say shit. And Rob's like, my base coach is yelling at me. Continue.
Fucking base coach. By the way, just so you guys get the idea of what kind of a player I am, my batting average is higher than my on-base percentage. Because I literally have not taken a walk the entire season, but there have been a few times where I've been thrown out trying to stretch a single into a double. So my batting average is like 400. My on-base is like 395 or something like that. But anyway, getting to the game, I've been a longtime fan of MLB the Show. I've played, I think, every single one since it first became MLB the Show back in 2006. I used to have it for the PSP. I had it for the PlayStation Vita, and I've had the last few for the PS4. And this is easily the best one yet. The gameplay is far more realistic than it's been in years past. It's a lot harder, even on the easiest levels. It's a lot harder to go and just bolster your statistics and hit like 500 with 97 home runs. That's even if on the easiest level, you can't do that anymore. So I do enjoy that part. I prefer realism over just having an insane player. The graphics are amazing. The graphics look absolutely, almost completely lifelike in this. They got Bryce's flow down. They got Kingery's flow down. They got Reese's face down perfectly. They got Nola down perfectly. The graphics look awesome. One thing I really like about this one is that in franchise mode, you can relocate a team. Unfortunately, they don't have a stadium creator thing in yet. Hopefully they have that in the next gen for next year's game. But it's really cool. I actually took control of the Nationals just so that I can move them to Montreal and make them the Expos again. Just because fuck the Nationals. So that's a thing that I really like. And other than that, I've just been playing a lot of Road to the Show, and I've been playing a lot of online home run derbies, which is a lot of fun as well. So any of you guys, Sean, I know that you've been playing a lot of the show because I see you online all the time. You're always in an online matchup. How do you feel about this year's game?
I agree with you. It's definitely one of the best that I've played. I've played a handful of them going back to like 2010. But I will say my main downfall of the game is the fielding. As good as the graphics are, there's definitely some, wonky fielding mechanics. And there's a couple of, problems with, I think, the exit velocities on perfectly timed swings and all that. Other than that, I can't complain. I think, the content coming out for the online packs has been fantastic. I think all of the Road to the Show mechanics and all of the franchise mechanics have been, much better in this game than they have been in previous games.
Yeah, I can actually kind of agree on the exit velocity. That's one thing I didn't even think of, but it's something that I noticed when I first started playing the game is sometimes you'll square a ball up perfectly and the exit velocity is just, a little bit off. It's something that maybe you should, hit like 450 feet and then the exit velocity is off and ends up being, warning track hour. But yeah, that's really one of my only complaints about the game. Boric, you've also played MLB the Show 20, have you not?
Yeah, I have, and I agree with you guys. I think it is the best game that I played of MLB the Show. I played mainly the franchise mode so far, and then I've tried some offline home run derbies. I do agree with Sean on you have some cuts and breaks that just seem really slow, where like a guy should have been able to field a ground ball, and because he moved like a second late, he didn't get. I used to have that a couple times, especially in franchise, but I've had that in every sports video game. You have issues like that, so that I just find natural to me. And then the other thing you mentioned, I do see kind of how NBA had the shot meter and it told you it was good and you would still miss. I see in how it says good contact, you sometimes like fly out on those, and I'm like, and then it says like you made great contact with it, and I'm like, well, that didn't even go that far. So how does that thing sometimes annoys me a little bit just because it doesn't make sense with where you hit the ball. But other than that, the graphics are ridiculous in this game, especially because, like they said, I was watching an Iron Pig stream actually yesterday. They had the minor league stream of them playing a game with the actual announcers, and they said even the minor leaguers, a lot of them look like themselves, like Goslings, and so they really did a good job on that brand and everything. Road to the Show, I just started playing though, so I can't say a lot on that yet, other than it's a lot more dynamic, and it looks like they invested a lot more into it than the last year's games.
Yeah, you brought up the minor leaguers, and that's another thing that's new about this year's game is that they actually have the minor league rosters. In years past, you would get the major league players, and then you would get a few of the fringe players who kind of, bounce around between AAA and the major leagues. This year, you get all the prospects. If you're playing the Phillies, you get Alex Boehm, you get Adonis Medina, or Alec Boehm, excuse me. You get Adonis Medina, you get Spencer Howard, you get all those big prospects there, and likewise for all the other teams, you get all the big name prospects as well as the guys who are already on the major league roster. So that's a pretty cool thing. I know that in franchise mode, I called up Spencer Howard about halfway through the season. He's like, I want to say he's like 3-2 with a 4 ERA, but he threw a complete game shutout against the Yankees, so that was pretty cool. Anybody else got any thoughts on MLB the Show? I'll take that as a no.
That was brilliant. Definitely don't take our word on it. Just buy MLB the Show and then play Sean. Like, I just want to bet on Sean, to win whomever the hell he faces. He hasn't even talked real shit on the show, Sean. You're just quietly I'm just gonna beat you. And that's just, I love it. I'm just looking to watch that game.
I want to start betting people ANYP merch when Sean plays, and just stacking hats and coffee mugs and stuff. I feel like
that's actually awesome.
Man, that's a lot of pressure.
All right, so we're gonna end that. Almost called it just the Road to Show bit, but the MLB the Show bit here. We're going to revisit that one occasionally, especially once we get Biscuit on, because Biscuit plays it a lot as well. I know that was a topic he was looking to get into. But for the most part,
get the streams going.
Dude, if you guys know how to do it, I'll gamble on it.
I mean, we've been continually talking about. We need to come through and make it happen.
We could use
So do it.
Twitch.
You can use what?
Couldn't we use that thing that they use for the morning show on 97.5 Twitch?
Yeah,
No,
do it?
I don't
Yeah,
fucking
Twitch.
Twitch. That's what they use for the Players League with the thing that's Hoskins is doing with all the other guys. They use Twitch and all that. So.
Huh. All right,
That's
well,
what-
y'all
Twitch
need
is
to
definitely-
download this shit.
It's definitely
and I'm
the
going to
easiest
gamble
way.
on you. No big deal. No big deal. But if you win and I've bet on you, you definitely get part of that cut. Just saying. So, Sean, don't fuck up.
I won't share anything with you. I'm a selfish prick. So. No, I'm just kidding. I'll share.
Thank you, Scott.
Or you guys could go the easy way, and Shane, you could bet on him to lose, and Sean, you could throw the game.
Ooh.
I mean, don't Black Sox
Whoa,
scandal
that's just
it.
going to make that
Whoa.
comment. Thanks for
There's
being-
an
Yeah, I wanna
integrity
make-
in the ANYP network.
I want to make it in the Hall of Fame one day, so let's cool it on that song.
Well played. All right. So for the rest of this podcast, we had a just an Ask Me Anything type of thing. So we decided that we were going to do some baseball questions, some non-baseball questions, let you guys get to know all of your hosts a little bit better. We started minorly discussing how we were going to do this beforehand, and none of us had a good idea whatsoever. So instead, we're going to do it this way. I'm going to ask you guys random questions about me and my Phillies takes over the years, or anything personally related about baseball to me. Whoever gets the closest answers, you get a question. So just indulge me, because I only have like 4 things so far. I'm just going to roll through this, and then we're going to see how this goes. I think this is going to be a freaking nightmare, but we'll give it a go. So first question, and just call it out. I can't see your hands raised. Just call it out if you know the answer. What number did I wear when I played?
Let's say number 9.
All right. Well, you get a question, sir. I did, in fact, wear number 9.
No shit.
I
was
did
completely.
wear-
I literally guessed that because that was the number that I wore when I played too.
Rob, we went to the same high school, man. There's no way that you didn't see me and somewhere in your drunken subconscious say, I remember that kid.
I mean, I'll be completely honest. I literally do not remember much from my days at LC.
That's fair. I also recall very little, but that's fine. Would you like a baseball question or a non-baseball question? What would you like?
I'm gonna go. Let's go with a baseball question.
Go with a baseball question? All right. Who do you blame in the Sir Anthony Dominguez situation? Do you blame Sir Anthony? Do you blame Dr. Andrews for messing up a Philadelphia athlete? Do you blame the Philadelphia medical staff or the organization as a whole? Who are you blaming in this situation?
Oh man, I'm gonna go with the medical staff just because they have a track record after last season. It wasn't just Sir Anthony; it was also David Robertson. It was also a whole bunch of other arms. Tommy Hunter, yeah, Pat Neshek had some issues. Arrieta had issues. That's not just a Sir Anthony thing; that's a team-wide thing. So that's why I'm going with the medical staff right there. I think that they're to blame for mishandling the guy who should have been the key piece of that bullpen, and that's a huge reason why they only finished at 81 and didn't end up even sniffing the playoffs last year. I think that's a big thing right there. So yeah, the medical staff is to blame for Sir Anthony's mishap.
All right, I respect that. If anyone counters any of these, by the way, please don't feel like you can't just interject. This is supposed to be kind of a free episode of just say whatever. So by all means, if anyone thinks Rob's an idiot, please let him have
Everybody thinks I'm an idiot. Come on.
it. You can't say it like that, because then it just kind of takes something away from those who end up calling you out, because it is what it is. All right. What position did I play through the majority of my high school career?
Shortstop.
Second base.
Who said shortstop?
That was me.
All right, man. Baseball question or non-baseball question?
Give me a baseball one.
Give you a baseball question. All right. Would you
I don't-
rather? Go ahead.
I don't know why I remember you telling me that. That was like the first podcast that we recorded. You told me that
It
story.
Probably
How you
was,
started
but that's the
shortstop.
thing. All the things I'm going to pull out right now are from our immediate conversations. So you guys have all at least heard this once. All right. Would you rather add to the current Philadelphia Phillies pitching staff 2014 AJ Burnett or 2016 Jared Eichhoff?
Oh, Jared Eichhoff. I'm gonna go with Jared Eichhoff on that one. I'm trying to remember. He had at least mild success, and I think if you throw him up against 2016 Eichhoff, if you throw him up against Velasquez and Pivetta, he has a shot at that 5th spot, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
I absolutely love him.
Yeah, I would have to go with him. I'd screw AJ Burnett.
Damn. Why didn't you trade for AJ Burnett?
I'd screw him.
He looked a
didn't-
little
he
too
didn't
much
belong.
like David Buchanan for me at times, and that really pissed me off.
That was
But other
also
than that-
Eichhoff's best season.
What's up?
16 was also Eichhoff's best season, where
That's-
AJ Burnett was
Well,
just
the person who
garbage.
formed the question's brilliant.
Wow. Yeah. Well, no, I'm just saying, like, AJ Burnett was
host, by
not
the
really
way.
good well.
We appreciate your questions. Please keep sending them.
Yes. All right. My current favorite Philadelphia Philly.
Hoskins?
Scott Kingery.
There you go. We going baseball or are we going non-baseball?
I want to talk baseball, but there's one non-baseball question that I'm going
Little
to lose my
specific.
mind if someone picks the opposite one. So give me the grilled cheese question, please. I need to go on a small rant here.
All right. That's actually awesome. When making a grilled cheese, are you a diagonal cut or a horizontal cut? Scott, what are you?
I mean, it's a proven scientific fact that sandwiches taste better when you cut them diagonally. They taste at least 3 times better. If you cut them horizontal, you're wrong. I don't want to be friends with you. Like, just stop it. So someone else tried to argue with me on this, but you're wrong too, and I'm gonna yell at you. All right, let's talk baseball.
So wait a minute. How come just not cutting the sandwich at all isn't an option there?
Well,
Well,
that's just
that's
a
just
psychopath.
insane.
Yeah.
You have to at least cut it.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
The only excuse for not cutting a sandwich is if you don't want to watch an extra piece or an extra utensil or whatever. So you're doing it purely out of laziness, but you acknowledge your sandwich is going to taste worse. Like,
No, you don't. Come on. Grown adults do not cut their sandwiches.
Are you kidding me?
Absolutely.
you have to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why-
cuts their sandwich.
Doesn't Wawa or Subway do it? If they forget to cut their sandwich, they give you a free sandwich?
I think so.
Probably.
Yeah. I think
Yes.
that's Subway.
And like you got to dip it in tomato soup.
Yeah.
You can still do that without cutting it.
What are you folding it?
And it's like soggy, and the whole thing's like weird if you do.
That's ridiculous. Rob, that's a terrible, terrible take. I'm sorry. That's fucking inexcusable from you. Oh my god. Thanks for picking the question, Scott. Well done. All right. My favorite process era Philly. So that's anyone from 2012 to, let's say, well, I guess 2017.
Cody Ashy.
All right. Well done. I loved Cody Ashe. Small man crush on him. You want baseball or non-baseball?
Well, first of all,
Sociopath.
that was too easy because I think you mentioned Cody Ashe like 11 times in the last 3 shows that you've done.
It's true, and yet 4 other people on the show didn't answer.
Well, I knew it was him. He just Rob answered before you finished the question.
That's fair.
I did know it wasn't Ken Giles though.
So it's true. It was certainly not that. Rob,
right,
we going baseball or not?
Give me a non-baseball question this time,
All right.
so I can give you another bad take.
I actually have a feeling you're going to give a decent take on this one.
Let's hear it.
Your top 3 go-to musicians, bands or solo artists, whichever.
I'm gonna have to go all country here.
Here should be
Right
some
now,
options.
because it always kind of changes up a little bit based on what I've really been listening to. Right now, the guy I've been listening to a lot is Darius Rucker. He's fucking awesome. I made a Twitter post about it yesterday or the other day.
Rudy.
Yep. Number 2 is I'm a big Eric Church guy, and so yeah, he would be number 2, and then number 3 right now would be a guy that he recently did a song with. That is Luke Combs.
Great pick.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I like that one.
Did you hear his new song he put on YouTube? It was he made it based off the quarantine. He hasn't released it yet, like on Spotify or anything. It's just on YouTube because he's been doing a bunch of concerts in his like living room on YouTube, and he made like a solo.
I'll have to check that out when we're done here.
It's really good. I liked it.
I'll have to check it out. Good stuff.
I have to imagine Bork is not in on the country. Are you?
No, I like country music.
Huh. You were the one I was pegging for an argument here. Interesting. All right. Next one. Which knee did I hurt and how many times?
Left.
Okay.
Twice.
Keep going.
4. 3 times.
Is infinity a number that we're accepting here?
We're working towards it, Scott.
Oh, 7?
Who the hell just said 7?
I think Bork deserves this one.
Yeah.
Bork deserves this one. We'll give it to Bork. Bork, you were incorrect on the number, but you were correct on the knee. It was the left knee, and it was 5 times. Would you like baseball?
You're the Contra Malaysia kid.
I am the Contra Malaysia kid. Well done. And you even said the medical term correctly. I approve.
Yeah, it's funny because I saw your Instagram name for the first time, and I was like, I'm not even going to bother pronouncing that.
That's fair. All right. Bork, baseball or non-baseball? What are you looking for here?
I'll take a baseball.
Taking a baseball question? All right. How concerned are you with the status of Realmuto's extension?
That's a great question. I would say moderately concerned just due to the fact that I feel John Middleton will step in at some point because Bryce Harper has already made it very clear that he wants JT Realmuto to be back, and it seems like John Middleton has made it very clear he'll do everything that Bryce Harper tells him to do. So I think it's only moderate concern for that reason because I feel like if Glenn Tack doesn't want to do it, one, if he has a bad season, he's going to get fired anyway. So Middleton will probably step in and keep him to begin with. So.
Is anyone more than moderately concerned at this point?
Yeah, I'm going to say I'm extremely concerned because I know Bryce and Reese said they both think he should be extended and want him extended. And I get it. The front office might say whatever they want, but, I mean, how many times does the front office say something and they do the opposite or it never comes true? And if you go back to last year at the trade deadline, Bryce Harper, Reese Hoskins, JT Realmuto, and everyone basically said we need to add pieces if we want to really compete. And they wanted to add pieces because they felt that they got an extra piece or two. They could be legit contenders. And we all saw what the front office did and didn't get them any help at all, really, outside a bunch of take chances names. So, I mean, Middleton and Klentak, they can say whatever they want, but until it actually happens, I'm going to be extremely concerned, especially with the opportunity for JT in a shortened season or even if the season gets canceled, play a full year or take a whole year off, and then it becomes a bidding war. And we all know after this offseason, they don't want to go over the luxury tax, so then it becomes even scarier.
Yeah, apparently stupid money began and ended with Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up because I've been waiting for this stupid money to come through, and my friends and work all make fun of me relentlessly because the Angels have, in fact, been spending stupid money. And they still suck and are never going to be good. So let's spend this money, please.
Yeah. No,
because the Angels worked out well? I'm sorry, what was your argument?
No, they just keep making fun of me, being like, all right, you guys you have this giant checkbook and you're willing to just write big contracts. Where are these big contracts? And I keep
We're avoiding being the
and,
Angels. Discussion over.
Yeah, that's always my argument against them. But I don't like someone just poor shaming me as a franchise. Like, I want to get in there and cut big checks. Like, Philadelphia is a better city than Anaheim.
All right, I'm gonna roll with that for next question then. What brand of shoe did I get poor shamed for wearing in junior high? And I have actually only mentioned this one time on any AMYP podcast.
Reebok? Shaq shoe?
New Era? Or I'm not.
Skechers?
New Balance. New Balance.
All right, Rob's on a roll, man. I'm actually convinced you've stalked my life. I got poor shame.
I mean, to be fair, out of all of us on the show, I'm the one who's been doing shows with you for the longest period of time.
That is true, and I'm actually 90% sure it was on a Backyard Beers. So
it probably was.
All right, baseball, non-baseball. Rob, what are you looking for?
Oh man, I'm gonna go back to non-baseball.
Non-baseball again. All right. A movie that you hate to admit that you actually love.
Friends with Benefits.
Which one is
movie.
that?
It's with Timberlake and Mila Kunis.
All right. I didn't know because 2 of them came out in the same year, and I can never remember which one is which. But you did pick the correct film. Good for you. Anyone gonna say that that's not a good movie? By the way,
I've never seen it.
that's fine. That's acceptable. If you were about to say that it was not a good movie, you'd be fired from the show. Mila Kunis is also a total babe.
She is a total babe. I'm always kind of afraid to admit that I like it because it's kind of, I don't know, I guess a romantic
rom-com?
comedy. Yeah,
Yeah.
rom-com. And it's always kind of weird for a guy to admit that he likes a rom-com.
Why? What's wrong with you? I mean,
Lots of
most of
things-
them suck and
lots
they're
of
all
things
color
are
by
wrong with
number,
me,
but
but-
still, it is what it is. All right. We mentioned my extensive knee injury history. What position did I have to switch to out of shortstop after the 3rd knee injury?
First
Second
base.
First,
DH.
DH, no. Someone guess.
Third base.
I think it was second, but somebody said it.
I said second. Yeah, I said
It was not second,
All right.
third.
not third.
pitcher.
Is coach a position?
I mean, technically, yes, and that was later after 4th knee injury, but keep going.
Is it left field?
No.
Pitcher.
At some point, someone just guessed one of the 2 positions you haven't guessed.
I think we guessed all of them. Catcher?
What kind of asshole puts someone behind the plate with 5 knee injuries?
Right field.
Holy shit. All right, it was center field. So one of you guys pick a question and you can ask me
I feel
since
like
you
all
went
right,
through.
center field is
counterintuitive.
definitely the center field is much more.
Though. Why would you put somebody with bad knees in center field?
Yeah.
Because I could still run in straight lines. I just couldn't risk being broken up for double plays. That was the coach's philosophy anyway. I think it was because I just started to suck at short, but that's fine. So you guys all
Hey,
have
Shane,
the
don't
questions.
shit on short, all right?
Don't. Well played. That will
See what
be
I did there,
it
everyone?
eventually. Everybody take notes from Scott there. The inter-segment bit of do not shit on short tonight. Good for you, man.
Bit coming soon. We're working on it.
We are working on it. So you guys all have this out at this point. No one guessed center field. You've guessed third base 4 times, first base, and coach even. No one guessed the one position that I did actually go to. So any one of you can pick any one of the questions. You can go baseball related or non from this list that we have, and you guys can ask me.
Let's go to the pool, actually. Let's somebody pick a question, then let's all answer it. Chime in here.
All right.
I like
I
that
think-
idea.
All right, Andrew, you can pick the question.
All right, let's go rank the host on who you would trust to provide you a solid weekend in Vegas.
All right, man, you pick the order of who's answering.
All right, let's start with Sean.
Wow. All right. Just because of his Skype picture, I'm going to start with Rob. Who I would trust to get me a good weekend in Vegas? Is that what?
Trust to provide
Solid
you a solid
weekend.
weekend in Vegas. Correct.
All right. Number 2. I'm gonna go with Bork. Definitely, I feel like he's got connections. I'm not. I don't know. I'm just going out on a limb and saying that. Number 3. Let's go. Jesus. Shane. You definitely would. I don't know. You seem like you're experienced. Number.
Thank you for calling me a degenerate. I appreciate it.
Yeah, nice.
I shouldn't have started this calling me that. Number 5, I'm gonna put a tie for the TJ's One of Us brothers, and then number 7, Biscuit, just because he's not here.
That's fair.
Okay.
That should be the penalty for Biscuit. He's everyone's 7th at this point. Or 6th, whatever.
Let's go Boric next.
Okay, I would say the same thing I was thinking of on Sean's lines. I would say Rob from his picture definitely looks like he knows how to party. So I would put him at numero uno, and then I would put Shane probably second or a close tied with Sean as second or third, and then obviously I would have the TJ's One of Us group.
I don't know how they got
either.
packaged together.
Andrew, how do you feel about us getting packaged together here?
I think it makes sense though, because we seem to agree with a lot of things on the previous podcast. So
Yeah,
That's what my thought process was. You guys seem like you have similar thoughts.
because I don't know, from the Sixers stuff to it seems like we've agreed on almost every single uniform take. So I definitely see where it's coming from.
Yeah, like I
think
feel
we
like
might
if
be
you wanna
wearing
do a
matching
lot of-
baseball jerseys.
I feel like if you want to do a lot of the same
Cute.
things,
Where are we at there with you, Bork?
I wrapped it up because I said
Yeah.
that you and Sean were almost even, but I put you second.
Okay.
I got you.
Well, since Rob, you were first on Sean and Joe's, let's go to you next.
Rob's
Oh,
taking
man.
himself to
First
Vegas.
of all, quick story about this profile picture. Neither one of those girls, I met them in Germany at a nightclub. Neither one of them speaks any English, and it didn't matter because you don't need to speak when you're. Yeah.
That proves my point.
Yeah, that even further proves the point that you should be double.
Oh man. All right. Well, anyway, I would go with I think I'd go with Borg first, just because Borg, you seem like you kind of have a no fucks given attitude towards everything. So you seem like you would be a fun
Pretty
person to
accurate.
party with out in Vegas. Number 2 would be Shane, just because he even admitted he's a degenerate gambler. Let's see, and then Sean would be number 3. I would go and then the TJ's one of us guys,
That's ridiculous.
and then Biscuit last because he's not on the show.
Biscuit's everyone's last because he's not on the show. It's the punishment that he gets.
All right, let's go to you next, Shane.
All right. First of all, you guys are all absolutely out of your fucking mind putting me anywhere in the top 3, 4, or 5. I should be in place with Biscuit. One, I am 100% leaving you all for a poker tournament that you're not going to afford to play in, and that's just moronic. 2, I mean, granted, I am in a committed relationship now, but I am awful to be with around women. So you guys are all dumb for choosing me as your number 2s and 3s. I'm going to go with Scott first, specifically because Scott, we've known each other our entire lives, and I don't think we've ever hung out for an extended period of time without other humans. I would trust that we would have a pretty solid weekend experimenting and all that shit. The rest of you, I really don't care. I think it would be exactly the same. I don't think any of you have experienced Vegas, so I don't really know how much I can trust any of you.
I've been there 3 times now.
Oh shit, that's right, Rob. You have been to Vegas a handful of times. Sorry, de facto, you're the second person there. There you go. So then the rest of you. Sorry.
Been there 3 times, all post 21 too. That's an important thing.
Not really. Just walk around and look like you're good. I actually, short story of my gambling history. When I was 17 to 20, I never lost a single dollar in any poker or any gambling that I did at any casino. Turned 21, the entire year of my 21st, I lost money every time I went to the casino. You know how fucked that is?
That's
That's
crazy.
pretty fucked up, man. That's like
I
what's
was so
happening
pissed
with me
off.
at Parks.
All right, Andrew.
Let's go to Scott next.
All right. Well, I was gonna ask if anyone had ever actually been to Vegas before. That was gonna be my first thought into this. But I mean, after Rob gives an answer like that, like we're taking down Vegas together. I mean, it's the only first choice here. I know
You mean
Shane
to
well
tell me
enough.
that the factor wasn't the profile picture this time?
See, I don't even really know the profile picture everyone's talking about here, so I'm gonna go investigate that after this. I was thinking Boric at first, just because that weird drinking story he told us as a punishment a while ago. So I mean, I love to tie him back as much as the next guy. So I mean, sign me up for a weekend of debauchery and drinking with Joe Boric second. To Shane's point, I do know him very well, and I love playing cards. So I'll throw him in there. But he did also say, hey, I'm not going to be a good Vegas weekend guy. I don't agree with that. I think we'd have fun together. Throw my TJ as one of us co-host in there after it, Andrew. And then I would say, Sean, you're coming in at the bottom of them just because you're younger at this point, and I feel like it would be your first time in Vegas, if I'm guessing correctly.
Very fair. I was there one time when I was 6 for my aunt's wedding.
Oh,
Can't
you
imagine that
partied
was much fun.
hard. Before we move on to the next question, though, I did want to talk a little bit about my first time in Vegas. So I went to Vegas. I'd had a really bad breakup a couple of years ago. Vegas is an hour flight from Southern California, so people go there all the time. It was the weekend Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov were fighting. There were rumors of just Irish and Russian people fighting in the streets there, so me and my buddies had to go take part. And when we were trying to find somewhere to watch the fight, we were going to go to it, and it turns out that it was going to cost us like, $500 to get into the stadium or something, so we didn't do that. The only place left to go was Sapphire, which is a strip club there. So we ended up watching the fight in Sapphire. It's a great place. You can't talk about what happens in the strip club. I think that goes against all guy code, but I'm not a strip club guy, but it was a fun night, and I don't remember any of it. So there you go.
I trust that it was a fun night then.
Yeah. Shockingly cheap, to be honest, for what you would think it would cost to watch a fight in a strip club.
Especially on a McGregor weekend, yeah.
Yeah, so, but
well done.
Yeah, Vegas is fun.
All right, Andrew, answer your own question, kid.
All right, I'm going to go Bork number 1 because I've known him since sophomore year, so I feel like we already know him and I know how we can get along together, and I think that'd create one of the better weekends there in that sense. Second, I'm going to go with Scott in the terms of gambling. I mean, we agree on a lot of stuff, so it's either we're going to hit big that weekend or we're going to go down together. Next, I'll go with Rob because of his experience. And then I'll take Sean after that, and then Biscuits and Shane.
Well done.
I mean, if Shane's already admitted he's not going to be a good counterpart in the weekend, why not put him last?
I think that's accurate. Well done. Thank you for listening. All right, so we've all went on the Vegas weekend thing here, and what it took to the last person to get the order remotely correct. So we're gonna roll to another question here. Keep it on the Vegas theme here. What is my favorite movie that has to do anything with degenerate gambling?
Rounders.
All right, Scott, baseball or non-baseball question?
Give me some baseball, because we already talked sandwiches, and that's all I really cared about in the entire list.
Oh, all right, Scott. You are the uniform guy. You are a look good, feel good guy. So we're going to go with this. Rank the Phillies' current uniforms. So the home pins, road grays, Sunday creams, and then the powder blue. Sunday cream sounds weird, but keep going.
It does, yeah. Things are getting strange in the late hours of the Chasing the Pennant podcast. Felt weird saying that. I almost said PTBNL or
It'll
whatever.
take some time.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna go for the home pins first. I know Biscuit is crying somewhere because I didn't pick the powder blues first. Then I'm gonna go powder blues after that. They're classic. Then we'll go the grays. Then we'll go the Sunday creams. I think the Sunday creams are kind of a trash jersey. I don't really like them that much. Yeah,
I'm actually going to agree with that. They are overrated.
Yeah, they're. I like when they first came out. I like the hats, but the novelty wore off on me real quick. I don't need them anymore. We can get rid of them. So.
Do you like the Rep Your City jerseys from the Sixers a few years ago? I guess it was 2 years ago now, because they're not like white. They're like
those cream colored ones.
Cream.
Yeah.
The weird thing is I do really like those. I don't necessarily like the Phillies cream ones, and I don't know why. It doesn't make sense. But
I'm exactly the same. I just wanted to confirm.
I don't like either one.
Is anybody else pro cream? Because I love that.
Sean New, big cream guy.
I love that. I love that Phillies cream jersey. That's my number one. I put that above the baby blues in my eyes.
No shit.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, when everybody was going out buying the Bryce Harper baby blues, I really wanted a cream one. I just wasn't working, so couldn't afford it.
Oh, that's fair.
Tell you what, honestly, you can't really go wrong with any of the Phillies jerseys. I think it all around. I feel like it's a great arsenal of jerseys to throw out there. I don't get mad with the cream ones or any of them really. It's just you're picking all good stuff. Like it's all around they're good.
I'd rather they rock the all maroon for day games as opposed to the cream.
What?
Wow.
Dead ass serious.
Wrong.
Dead ass
Rob,
serious.
how many bad takes are you going to have tonight?
Apparently a lot, but I mean, that's your opinion. That's a bad. I think it's a great take.
I think you're insane. There's only one Andrew McCutcheon.
Some guys look like shit too. Like it makes some guys not look good.
Like, do you want to see Aaron Nola pitching in that?
Yeah, why not?
Aaron Nola cannot pull the All Maroons off.
No,
Andrew McCutcheon can pull off a paper bag.
McCutcheon can pull off anything though. He's also like the fashionista, like the fashion master of the team. So
yeah.
Bryce Harper might argue
maybe
that.
Bryce, but
Just saying.
Anyway, give me the All Maroons over the Creams any day.
What about? I got two uniform questions. What about would you take the current pinstripe or the old pinstripe?
Maroon all day.
Maroon. Yep.
Yeah,
I agree with
absolutely.
that. I wish they'd go back to those.
Yeah.
So do I.
I do like
I
that.
almost every team in the city, I wish would go back to the jerseys or the uniforms from past years.
Kelly Green Eagles, baby.
I do love the Kelly Green Eagles.
hell yeah.
Rob, you and I talked about this on your last Disciples of Ed show. The Flyers jerseys, while great, they're like really bright orange, and it's not. And I don't know, it just doesn't reflect the city. You need more of that burnt orange that they had kind of in the late 90s there, I guess it was.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the Phillies should definitely go back to maroon. Maroon is such a better color than red. It just is.
I agree. And then the other one I had was, would you take? I would wish they would wear like that red spring training jersey a little more than they do. I knew last year, I think it was, or the game like Vince Velasquez had that really good game against the Padres when they wore those red tops. I wish they'd
Like
kind of
4
wear
years
those.
ago.
What would you guys think about those red jerseys?
I'm going to step in here and say, Rob, that is a good take. So just so we all know what one is, your takes have not been good. So take notes from Andrew here.
Jesus Christ, I'm getting assaulted over here.
We still have fun in Vegas together. Don't worry about it. But like, stay away from the Maroons and cut your damn sandwiches.
Oh man. All
Rob's
right, can we
getting all his
at least
garbage
agree
takes out the way
that?
now.
Can we at least agree that the old logo that came with the maroon jerseys is better than the current logo?
Yes, that's
Yes.
Yes.
There we go.
What was the other one that someone was rolling out?
I'm gonna stand tall with my opinion that those all maroons are pretty dope.
Yeah, real confident on the one podcast a week that comes with no punishments for shitty takes. Real confident over there, Rob. What was the other question, the other uniform question, or did we already answer it?
I did. It was the red spring training one, or the red jerseys.
Okay. People hated that jersey when it came out. I guess that's why it only lasted 1 year.
I never understood it, because I always liked it.
Yeah, I liked it.
I think
All
it was
right.
because people just thought that it was too similar to the spring training, and people just don't, for some reason, separate two things from their minds at times. So it's like, oh, this is too similar. They got lazy. It's like, no, it's just a cool jersey. It's like,
That's actually a
Did
good
nothing for me either way. I really didn't care about it. All right. My favorite baseball movie of all time.
Bull Durham.
Yes.
God damn, I was about to say
Shane, I watched it last night. I finally watched it, by the way.
All right. Well, now, all right. Pause. CTP. What's your review? Did you love it?
I did love it. I did. I mentioned on the one podcast we talked about it that I had seen like the middle section, so I didn't really understand where the characters were coming from and why they were the way that they were. But once I watched the entire thing, I really understood it. I understood why,
Use that speech on your girlfriend.
Which speech? What do you? Oh, the beginning one, where he's talking about what he believes in.
What, the one that he says to Susan Sarandon before he decides to leave.
Yeah, that one. What he believes in. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I love that. I love that moment.
Susan Sarandon, babe.
Completely agree. So yeah.
Well, good, man. Thank you for finally watching that movie and being a person. What would you like, baseball or non-baseball?
Me baseball.
All right, let's go baseball. All right. Let's see. Trying to remember which ones we did. Sorry for the random delay. I would say I'm going to edit this out, but it's too late. I'm not going to do that. All right. Let's go with the Wheeler question. I like this one. So Wheeler was our big addition this offseason. However, he wasn't the sexiest of all the pitchers that signed. It was probably in that third mark. But for the price that we got him at and for the length of the contract, overall, where would you rank him with Strasburg and with Cole in terms of this offseason? Who do you think's contract will look the best come the end of it?
Garrett Cole. Next
do?
question. I think that.
Damn, that was quick.
I think, maybe if he's only good for 6 years, he's going to be the best pitcher in baseball for the next 5 to 6 years. I mean, he did move to a hitter-friendly park.
Yes, and he has to shave.
And he has to shave. You know what? I'll change my answer, Steven Strasburg, because
Yeah,
he's in the Phillies.
that's wrong too.
He's in the Phillies division, and I'm used to being let down by big Phillies contracts. So.
Does anyone else remember watching when Strasburg threw his elbow out the first time?
I was at that game.
Same.
I remember that. That's one of my biggest Phillies memories. Weird enough, was watching him blow his elbow out, and I turned to my dad and I was like, "Oh, he needs Tommy John for sure." And my dad was like, "Shut up, you're too young. You don't know anything about this." Sure enough,
The reality of it is,
just,
every time someone grabs your arm as a pitcher, it's just what you say.
Yeah, I've been saying that for 10 years, so I was finally right. But
So I was sitting in the last row of the upper deck for that game in third base side, and when he threw out his elbow, I could hear him yell all the way at the top of the stadium.
Yeah, I was 8 rows behind the visitors' dugout. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I thought I could actually hear the pop.
No.
I don't know if I did or not, but
Yeah,
I definitely heard him yell, and
Yeah.
I can remember that.
Yeah, it was
He
a
was
yell and then a
definitely
fuck. He was not happy. I went to his first start in Citizens Bank Park. So I went with L, so host of the Kelly Green Hour. We went and we said, all right, we're going to eat one hot dog for every Strasburg strikeout. And that was a terrible life decision. We both got violently ill. So never, ever, ever bet on Steven Strasburg or against him, whichever way you were falling on this particular category. The correct answer to that question, long story short on this, was definitely Wheeler. Wheeler's contract's going to age the best. Because I don't trust anyone who can't have a beard. That's unfortunate on all circumstances. Scott has even adapted a beard at this point, and he looks damn good sporting it. So good for you, Scott.
thank you. It's
yeah,
much
man.
patchier when it's not on a webcam. I will say that. So.
That's okay. No one needs to see you be on the webcam at this point.
Yeah,
Possibly
there
for
you
the
go.
rest of existence. We don't know. we could be.
You showed off to our girl Nasty. She loves beards.
She's a babe. But yeah, we're basically living in Ready Player One right now. At a certain point, someone's going to have to build me the car from Back to the Future, and I'm just going to have to wear some goggles and pretend I'm driving it.
You can get that car in GTA now. It's pretty freaking awesome.
You can.
The
What?
DeLoreans, really?
They have the fly. It's like a replica of it because they can't put the exact thing in there, but it's like the flying car, the cool looking car based off of the Back to the Future car. They always do stuff based off of stuff. So that was one of the cars on the podium wheel a couple weeks ago in the casino.
All right. Moving on. Next one. We're going to go through just a couple more here, and then we'll cut this one. I think this is a pretty good system for our first AMA, especially since I'm winging these questions as I go. Questions about me, not the questions we got in, by the way. These questions are legit. Which Philadelphia Philly is Stephanie, so my lady, her favorite Philly of last year's roster?
Off last year's roster.
Hoskins?
Yeah, who said it? Who said Hoskins?
That was
I
Borg.
said Hoskins.
All right, man. Baseball and non-baseball.
I'll go with baseball because I was kind of with Scott. That sandwich question was my most interesting thing.
Thank you, Borg.
Fair.
You just earned a big point in my book.
You're climbing up the Vegas charts now, kid.
Yeah.
All right. Which former Philly that is still an active player, just not on Philly's roster, obviously, would you bring back to the 2020 roster? The only stipulation is that they have to start or they have to be in the 5-man rotation.
They have this. I would say Cole Hamels because he would 100% be in the 5-man rotation, and he
I
would
think
be
you'd be
better
100% on the DL, but keep going.
well, yeah, but I'm talking about before all of that.
You can't. It's
Saying-
the current status of his shoulder. He's
But-
done.
But if we're talking about other people, I'm just trying to think off of the dome of people we used to have. I would have brought back a guy that was a veteran this offseason. I would have thought fit in well in Hunter Pence because you could have platooned him in, and you don't want to put Kutch in an over amount of time after coming off of a bad knee injury. You don't want to overtax a youngster in Quinn or Hazley because Quinn has injury. So I thought someone like him would have worked as a veteran outfielder since we have some injury concern with our outfielders. So I would say him then.
Okay. I don't hate that. I'll take the platoon as kind of a correct answer to the stipulation since it is a normally utilized thing in all of baseball now. All right. I'm going to go for Scott for the confirmation on this answer, but how fast did Scott throw a fastball in high school?
76 miles an hour.
80.
You guys are too generous. Jeez.
65.
It was closer to 60 to 65, but I used to hit the gun at like 71-ish. But
Wasn't that far off?
Yeah, you weren't that far off. Quick story about that. So we used to do our winter workouts at what was called the Rock Yard. I went to Council Rock South, so it was not that clever of a name, but I digress. We used to all, pitch, and Coach Young, he would chart every, single pitch we threw and like check velocity through all of it. He would go through every single one of the pitchers, call it out loud, and be like, like Shane, average like 82, high 85. Good job. Like you're getting up there. Andrew, like 79 average, 82 high. Good job, man. Then he'd get to me and be like, Scott, is it cool if I tell everyone how hard you were throwing? I'd be like, yes, Coach Young, you can tell everyone that I don't throw hard. He'd be like, all right, 69 average, 73 high. Got to work on that, bud. You're really not throwing hard. Anyway, let's move on here, guys.
Oh, that's
You
awesome.
just got to be one of those location type pitchers. You
Yeah, you got to be a Jamie Moyer, man.
Yeah, I was Jamie Moyer. I was a 17-year-old Jamie Moyer.
Nothing wrong with that. All right, so who got closest to that mile per hour there? Was it Sean?
Yeah, I think it was.
All right, man. Baseball or non-baseball?
Non-baseball. I'd also like to say if I wanted to bring back a non-current Philly that's still playing, it'd be Darren Ruff. So
Darren Ruff?
let's get.
You
let's
would
get
want him to start?
Nobody's going to mention
have you
Carlos
seen him?
Carrasco.
Well, I was thinking that, but I was really thinking outfielders, so I was thinking Darren Ruff.
I didn't even think of Carrasco. That's actually a good one.
Yeah, I did.
Carrasco's the only correct answer. But good
My
for whoever
thought
brought
was
that up.
Carrasco, and my first thought was Hamels, then I was like Carrasco, but I was like, no, I think we need an outfielder. I mean, I trust Hazley, but I think I'd want to put somebody out there. And Darren Ruff was
Ruff is your answer?
Have you seen his stats in, what was it, the Japan League?
Korean League or whatever?
Yeah, have you seen his stats?
Everybody rakes over there.
All right,
No.
but have you seen his stats?
Please Google this for me and tell
I'm
us.
trying to Google.
And then I'd like to tell you what I think Boric would hit.
I'm trying to Google it right now.
I'm
Waiting.
afraid that if I try and Google it and click away from the Skype call, that I will
that's
accidentally
fair.
crash my computer. So
All right,
go ahead,
well,
Bork.
let's
Ask the
not-
non-baseball question, and Bork will come back with the stats.
All right, so we're going to ask the non-baseball question here. All right, let's see. All right. Fishing or hunting, how are you spending your weekend?
I have to pick one of the two.
What the fuck is wrong? Yes.
Fishing. I've never
Fishing?
been hunting. A couple of my dad's friends, they go hunting with their kids, and my dad was not a hunter by any means. So I am definitely more of a fisher. I love fishing.
Okay.
Just not.
Well, one would argue that you don't love it. So I have to pick one of
I
these two.
I have to
to
pick.
be fair, I haven't gone fishing in, I'm gonna say, a couple of years, but if
All
we
right,
were
AMYP fishing trip soon. This is
CTP
ridiculous. We
fishing
need to
trip
bond.
soon.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Fishing is more conducive to drinking.
There you go. I like
That's
it.
I was
true. We
actually
probably shouldn't
about
handle
to
it then.
say, if we need a question, I kind of am curious about this. I have an AMA for everybody.
All right,
what's
go.
your favorite beer? Since we talked about this at the beginning of the podcast.
Oof. All right, so start with Andrew.
I'm going Yingling.
Staying local. Scott.
Does whiskey count as beer? 'Cause, no, sorry to give a non-asshole answer. My favorite beer is probably a Carlsberg. It's a Danish Pilsner. It's
Good
a
choice.
douchey answer as well, but it's a good beer.
Good choice.
Who didn't go? Boric, what's your favorite beer?
Mine is the same as Andrew, actually, Yingling, because that's one of the first ones I ever drank too, and I just liked it ever since.
Okay. Rob?
I got to say Guinness because if I didn't say Guinness, my Irish family would stone me to death.
That's fair. Shocking, Shane Stat. I do not drink, so I do not have a favorite beer. Sean, what is yours?
So if I'm going for taste, this is going to be considered the wrong answer, but I really like Sour Monkey. I love sours.
Why is that the wrong answer?
Sours are great.
Okay.
Yeah,
I hate
Whiskey Schmitty would love you.
Oh, okay. I just don't like dark stuff like lagers. The fact that half of you answered with some dark beer is making me cringe over here because if I'm going for a relaxed night, it's a Bud Light.
Don't worry, man. Your taste will evolve as you get older.
I also
I am only 21. That's true.
I have a all-around palate when it comes to beer, I guess.
You're the last person I'd ever expect to use the word palate, by the way. Good for you. All right.
Going off that question, whenever anybody goes to a bar, do you ever get like a different drink each time, like a different beer? Like I know a lot of people usually buy the same beer like throughout the night, but like when I go to the bar, I have to buy a different beer every time. I go up there to get a beer.
You're a good human, by the way. If I drank, that is 100% what I would do.
I'm the same, but what I always say is like, I'll start the night out with a little bit of whiskey or a couple beers, and what I normally say to my friends or my family is, when you see me switch to vodka, you should probably tell me to go home, because I'll hit a point in the night when I switch to drinking a vodka soda, because I think for whatever reason vodka doesn't affect me. It still does. It's hard liquor. Drink safe at home, kids. But if you see me out at the bar and I have a vodka soda in my hands, run away.
Oh man, I usually keep it the same. My buddy Don, the bartender, I like to keep it simple for him. So same beer the whole time. Give me a Guinness.
Your bartender called me a douchebag.
Did he really?
Yeah, specifically because I had long hair. It's hilarious. I walked in after work one night in like a leather jacket, and I had longer hair, and he was like, "Yeah, Stephanie, your boyfriend's kind of a douchebag, isn't he?" He goes, "What?" He goes, "I don't know, he just looks like one." I said, "Thanks, man." My lasting memory of your bartender.
That sounds like Don.
Yeah, honest guy. He's a nice dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a good guy.
Definitely not a listener to the pod, but if he happens to stumble across it,
He should be. He's a huge Phils fan.
Well, there you go. Then why are you not marketing to him and his bar that clearly cannot be open at this point? All right. Where are we at in this, by the way?
Yeah, I completely lost track.
Me too. Do I owe a question to someone, or are we moving on to another one here?
The last question was the fishing or hunting question, I believe. So I don't know how we got.
We just.
Well, I mean,
I switched.
Oh, because you can drink when you fish.
yeah, fishing. Yeah, fishing and beer correlation there.
Well done.
Yeah, and then Sean came up with a question, and Andrew came up with a question.
That's the way it should
things
go.
are flowing well. Yeah,
Well done.
I like the last 5 minutes.
By the way, speaking of the last 5 minutes, I also found Darren Ruff's stats.
Oh, sweet Jesus. Please lay them on me.
So he played for Samsung in the KBO. In 2017, he hit .315 with 124 RBIs and 31 homers. The following year was 33 homers and 125 RBIs, hitting .330. Then his batting average went down to .292 last year, but he still had 101 RBIs with 22 homers.
I stand corrected.
That speaks to the lack of talent in that league over there.
He's still raking. I don't know. It's the power.
Those are pretty good stats. Like,
I'm not buying it. Not buying it at all.
Nah, I'm not buying it.
Not
By the way,
not
hell
even.
of a flex by Samsung sponsoring a whole damn team over there.
yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Like, damn. Like the Samsungs. Like, they don't even have a mascot. They just went twice with the company name.
Oh man.
Oh,
Samsung Galaxies.
That's corny as hell, Rob. That was stupid. All right. Let's go to two more here.
Samsung Lions. So that's their.
You said the Lions?
Yeah, that's their secondary part of the name. I was just looking at his stats, which just shows you the half part of the name. But they're the Lions.
All right, someone find his YouTube highlight video of it so I can see if he's actually gotten better or if it's just a product of a shitty league. Just someone send me that at some point.
I'm like
I'm gonna
90% certain they play with juice balls over there that are like even more juice than we had in baseball last year.
Have we heard any Tommy Joseph stats? I proved my point.
How many concussions
What
does he
kind
have?
of point are you talking about?
That dude raked for like half a season, and then he went out there, and we have heard nothing. But we did hear plenty about how good Darren Ruff was.
He's Mr. Baseball. That's it. You don't understand the reference. It's a movie. All right, guys, let's go to two more quick ones here, and then we're going to wrap this one up. This has been good, though. I'm glad our first episode as CTP had almost the entire show on. Biscuit, you're dead to us. Don't worry about it. You beat me out for Vegas. Last two. Over under on how many errors I had last year for my team. I'm going to set it at 2.
Over.
Oh.
You guys are all assholes.
But are we right?
You are absolutely not correct. I had a single error last year, so any one of you can pick. Who wants a question? Scott, you're getting a question.
All right.
Baseball or non?
Let's go baseball.
All right. Let's see. All right, this is a decent one for you. Pick any athlete from one of the other core 4 teams that you would trust to be a valuable member of the 40-man roster for the Phillies.
I'm gonna go Ben Simmons. I feel like he probably has just never seen baseball before. I don't think they play it in Australia. It hasn't translated down there yet. But I think he's athletic enough. You throw him out there that he's getting a couple pinch
Did you not
hits.
see him walk out there and that
No, I
ugly
didn't.
ass whatever?
No, see, I black things out if Ben Simmons does poorly. Like I just need him to be doing
so you're
good.
Philadelphian. I respect
He
that.
doesn't even know what hand he throws with.
Yeah, see, there you go. Imagine if he got
That's a
trained
very good
little
point.
bit, then he'd be awesome.
I think it's you know what? You're wrong, but I appreciate it.
I mean, you knew I was going to pick a basketball guy. Like,
I was hoping you were going to pick Joel Embiid just because I think it'd be fun with Bryce Harper there. Ben Simmons is kind of he's my
social
favorite
media.
Sixer.
The social media commentary would be unbelievable. So
Hilarious.
we might need it just for that. But
Yeah,
Well, let's be honest. Simmons will be afraid to make any throw longer than 3 feet.
yeah,
All
but
right,
like
Scott,
we're all
do you
going to have
want to beat him up or
DHs
should I?
anyway. So
Wow.
we'll just
Wow.
we'll just throw him up there and he'll hit. Yeah.
Yeah, no slander on Simmons. He's the best 76er on the roster.
I think one thing we're all forgetting is Carson Wentz hosts a softball
Thank
tournament.
you. That was a layup of a question, Sean.
And me and my girlfriend went, and I'd have to say,
That's awesome.
I forget who between Jason Kelsey
Kelce.
or Wisniewski, right? He was the other one raking.
Wisniewski was good.
Yeah, I'd take one of those guys over anybody on the Sixers.
I think Jason Kelsey's actually a quality response. Good stuff.
I think you throw him at first, you give him, John Kruk was a first baseman, right? You give him you give him the John Kruk treatment, and I think.
You think he'd have that same weird ass looking stance?
Yeah.
I think it'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, I don't think basketball translates in any way into baseball at all.
Anything.
So I could not have picked a worse sport, let alone a worse athlete, to answer that question. So
Yeah.
I'm trying. Andrew, we really need to get TJ's one of us back up and going again because I clearly have just been thinking about basketball too much.
It sounds
Dude,
good
there's
to me.
so much stuff to talk about with basketball.
Whenever you want to get one going, just let me know.
Right?
Done. You heard it here.
We might get an episode out. We don't know. Took us 6 months to name this pod. All right, guys. Last question here, and then we're going to wrap this one up and give a word from some of our sponsors over here. So my over-under on my batting average for last year, 350.
Over.
Yep. Who said over?
That's me.
All right, Rob. We're
Give
going
me
to
a
go
baseball
non-base.
question this time.
Fuck. I think we're out. Hold on.
All right, give me a non-baseball. That's fine. I'll make it easy.
Well,
on you.
let me make sure. We may have the Kingery one. That's right. I was waiting for it for Boric.
We have that one at number 4, right? The shortened.
We have a lot more baseball questions left than I thought. That's solid.
All right,
all right,
give
let's
me
go
a
with
baseball
that
question then.
All right. In a shortened 2020 season, which do you believe will end up having a greater impact? Alec Boehm or Spencer Howard?
I'm going to go with Spencer Howard just because I think he would get called up before Bohm because there's more of a need in the rotation than there is in the lineup. And I really like what Spencer Howard has to offer. I think he's got great stuff. And I think that once he does crack the rotation, he's going to be there to stay. Not just because we have a bad rotation, but because, he's got some pretty high potential. And I really like his chances of actually meeting that potential and being a solid starting pitcher. That's not to say that Bohm won't be a great player. I think Bohm will be a great player, but the need at starting pitcher will result in Spencer Howard getting the call before Bohm. Therefore, he'll be more effective in a shortened season.
I think that's probably the right answer. I still want to see Alec Bohm up so bad. Like, if there's any way we can get that to work, create a rover position, let him play another outfield. I don't give a damn. I just want to see the kid play. But all right, so I'm going to end this part with one more non-baseball related question to everyone, and we're just going to go around real quick. But this is more so inspired by one of Andrew's latest polls. So Andrew, you posted about, do you make your own pasta or do you not? So one of the questions that I personally wanted to get to on here specifically, because I'm curious for you guys for when we eventually are able to interact with other humans like within 6 feet of each other, so we can barbecue and hang out and watch baseball here. If you're going to a really nice restaurant, what is the protein that you are selecting for your main course? So I'm going to start with Scott, because Scott's a picky eater and doesn't like chicken for some fuck reason.
Well, because I'm deathly allergic to it, and I
oh
like
shit, that's right.
So yeah, but
man, I feel like an asshole on that.
Yeah, whatever, it's fine. I feel like steak's the obvious choice, but I'm gonna go seafood because I feel like I don't make seafood well enough at home. I'd make a pretty good steak, so when I'm out and I get a chance to order a specialty dish, I'm going seafood.
All right, well, you have a particular that you like?
Oh, I'm going crab.
Crab. All right, man. Andrew, how about you?
Crab's a solid pick, but I think I'm gonna go a nice full rack of ribs. I think it's
great choice.
Solid.
It's one of my favorite meals, so I think I go to a perfect barbecue type restaurant. Maybe since I'm sometimes living in Oklahoma, maybe go down to Texas for some good Southern barbecue.
All right, man. All right, low and slow for you for when Phillies baseball comes back. Good stuff. Sean, where are we going for you?
Entirely depends on the restaurant. If it's a steakhouse, obviously I'm getting a steak. But if it's not, I think I'd go with a chicken parm. Kind of basic. Yeah, mostly chicken parm if it's if it's Italian. But if not, I'm going some kind of chicken.
All right, I like it. Bork, how about you, sir?
I would say the same thing, because I was going to say when I go to Outback, I always get one of their really good.
Call that a nice restaurant.
From there. Well, I'm just, or like go to a bigger steakhouse, I'll get a steak. But if I go somewhere else, I normally get salmon or stuffed salmon or some type of seafood combo platter because salmon's my favorite seafood. So normally that's my choice thing.
And I respect the seafood love that this is getting. I did not anticipate that. Good stuff. Rob, I kind of pegged you as the only one who I thought would go seafood.
And you're correct.
All right. Yeah. So what are you going?
I mean, I was thinking about going elsewhere just because Scott already mentioned crab cake. I was going to go maybe medium rare top sirloin, which is a very good choice, but I'm going to have to go with crab cake. I love crab cake. It's my favorite food. That's what I'm going with there.
All right, man. I respect that. We will eventually, I swear, we'll all get together once this shit is over. I am a big cook. I don't know how many of you guys are, but one thing that we used to do is we used to have a bunch of people over. Everyone would bring over something, and we'd start barbecuing earlier in the day. And then, we usually did this for hockey playoffs, but we're going to make exceptions this year and do it for all of baseball season. But I think it'd be cool to get us all together, bring over some barbecue stuff or whatever kind of meal that you guys want to have, and we'll get some of that stuff going over here during baseball season. And then you guys can all bring whatever kind of beer you want, which is also positive. And then we'll just, Zoom in with Scott, who's, 4 whiskeys deep and possibly on to vodka. We don't know.
I will say you guys have all
canceled the Zoom call.
You guys have all inspired me to have a second dinner tonight, so thank you for that. I'm starving now.
Oh, no problem, man.
I will say another dish that would be really good that I just thought of is a surf and turf.
Oh,
Yeah.
that might have been the move.
That is the move. That's always the move.
Can I change my answer?
Yeah, you could change your answer, of course. Food's the only thing you guys can flip-flop on here.
I'm going
Sports
surf and
takes
turf.
like forever.
I'm going surf and turf now because ribs is my favorite meal, but if I'm going like a nice restaurant, you get best of both worlds between seafood and the meat. So
Yeah, absolutely. All right. One thing I will say for all the listeners, if you are local to us, that is Bucks County, you can get fantastic proteins or non-proteins. You get whatever the hell you want at Just Food. It's 215. Shit, I can't remember the number. Rob, what's the number now?
215-794 or 793-3663.
Thank you. Couldn't remember it.
No,
for whatever fucking
794-3663.
You should probably just go to the website, jffood.com. But Asian Rob, fantastic food over there. Not a memorable number, clearly. I've taken it off the whiteboard in order to remember what our podcast is now titled. I just looked directly over at the whiteboard that's sitting in front of the computer, and now it says their title and not Rob's phone number. Really fucked me up. But Just Food, it's delicious, I promise you. And then help out a local business, like I said. So they are in Bucks County. It's in Buckingham Green and Buckingham Green Shopping Center. And then Asian Rob's brother is actually the cook over there at the Delvell Market. So Rob, all those breakfast sandwiches that you get, that's Asian Rob's brother. You probably honestly thought it was Rob half the time because I get them mixed up too. But they're awesome humans. Their food is great. And it's a small business you're supporting during a time where it's really, really difficult. So definitely do that and support wherever you are from, whatever local businesses are around. It's really important now more so than ever. But guys, this has been awesome. This is the most controlled I think that we have been in terms of time at an hour and 16 minutes. And this is supposed to be the one that didn't really matter. But I dig it. It went well. Thank you guys for answering all those questions and playing along. It was good. Sean, thanks for the name, man. I'm super excited that we have a good acronym. That's or acronym, whatever initials. What is that called? Is that an acronym? Am I blanking? CTP.
Yeah, it's an acronym.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Chasing the Pennant. Great ring. Thank your mom for it too. We appreciate the story. I thought it was pretty solid. And then we will be back this week, probably on Monday night or Tuesday night. We'll get out the next episode here. We'll get half the team back with some more strictly baseball content. And then we're going to go to the third round of Andrew's uniform bracket. So for the first time, we're going to sign out here as CTB. We are chasing the pennant here for the Always Next Year podcast. I'm your host for Joe Borg, for Sean New, for Andrew Santangelo, Rob Gilmore, and Scott Novick. It's the first time I've ever said your full name, by the way, Scott, at least on the podcast.
Yeah, I was going to say that. That is.
It sounded weird.
So
everyone else's I have. What a strange sign off. That's it for the Always Next Year podcast. We are CTP. See you guys this week.
A fighting man I used to be, revered and feared through Killarney. Now I'm back to hitching with the wind. But if Mickey Flynn should ever find me, I'll throw me caution all behind me and square off on that son of a bitch again. He cracked open a river too, he beat me Sunday through and through, and such over my unconscious frame. I won me healthy sheriff fights, well lucky son, still happy life since Mickey Flynn beat me dumb and lame.